Hello, crafters. This is Yana Smakula for SimonsStamp.com. Welcome back for another Yippee For Yana episode. In today's video, I'm creating a holiday greeting card, and I'm combining clear stamping with hot foil stamping. I'm going to use Simon's Holiday Sprigs stamp set to create beautiful Christmas blooms, and then we'll use Spellbinders' Essential Christmas Greetings to create a foiled sentiment. Let's get started. Here I have the Holiday Sprigs set. It is a beautifully illustrated set with an organic poinsettia in two sizes, a mistletoe sprig with berries, another beautiful branch. I'm not quite sure what the name of this branch is. Let me know in the comments below if you know what the name of this branch is. And also you have a holly leaf. I'm creating an A2 card, and my idea is to have foliage coming in from the top left and bottom right corners, creating a somewhat diagonal design, if you will. I know I will need 3 poinsettias for my card, as well as 2 mistletoe branches, plus some filler pieces. I used my Mini Misty stamping tool, and I stamped all of the images I need, plus I stamped some extra in Memento Tuxedo Black ink onto Nina Solar White cardstock. Now, I stamped several identical panels to have spare images in case I messed up anything during my card making process. I did keep the stamps in the Misty as I wanted to come back to these images and re-stamp the outlines in VersaFine Onyx Black ink once my coloring was done. The VersaFine gives a much blacker black outline. It is one that I prefer for my images. But VersaFine is not alcohol marker resistant ink. At least it's not until heat set. So I typically like to stamp in Memento Tuxedo Black ink, which is alcohol marker friendly ink, then do my coloring with alcohol markers, and then if I remember, re-stamp the outlines with VersaFine. I decided to try a slightly different approach to my coloring today, a more loose and artistic coloring. And what I mean by this is I didn't color each image, I didn't coat each image with color entirely. I left some parts, some small parts of the image uncolored. This created a natural highlight for the leaves and added a more artsy look to these images. My coloring was done using Copic markers. I used my go-to colors and my go-to color combinations. The greenery was colored using G99, my darkest green, G94, my medium green, and G91, the lightest green. This color combo gives a very pretty muted green as opposed to a vibrant grass green color. I find this combination to be perfect for holiday imagery. Now, mistletoe berries come in 3 different colors: white, pink, and red. I actually didn't know they come in pink. I opted to color mine red as I was going for a traditional red and green color combo for this card. I colored the berries using R27, R24, and R22 colors, and I simply outlined each berry, leaving a spot of white in the center, working as a highlight. Now, you can add a highlight using a white pen or a white marker, but whenever possible, I like to leave the paper white. This type of highlight looks a lot more natural. Of course, it all depends on the type of coloring I'm doing and the type of image I'm coloring. If that's a cartoony type of image, I would prefer to stick to using a white gel pen to create a highlight. If I'm coloring an organic foliage like this, I try to keep a part of the paper free from coloring to create a natural looking highlight. My poinsettias were colored using the same colors as the berries, so R27, R24, and R22. Now, I didn't do much blending. In fact, I did almost no blending at all. I first applied the darkest color, next added my medium shade overlapping the darker color slightly, and then came in with the lightest color overlapping the medium color slightly. And here as well, I tried to mimic highlights on the leaves by keeping a part of the leaf free from color. And the yellow center was colored using a single Y19 marker. Next, I popped the panel back inside my Mini Misty and re-stamped the image outlines in VersaFine Onyx Black ink. Once I do that, you can see how much darker the black outlines look. I really prefer this. I used coordinating dies and cut these images out in my Platinum die cutting machine. Now we need to create a sentiment. I will be foiling mine using matte gold foil. If you haven't ventured into the hot foil stamping yet, you can simply heat emboss a sentiment of your choice in gold or antique gold embossing powder. Here I have a panel of Simon's cream cardstock and the sentiment plate. I want to foil the sentiment in the center of my panel, and the panel is cut to 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, as that will make the front of my A2 card. Now I can never find my ruler, so I try and use whatever I can find on my desk to help me align the plate. So I'm using the grid lines of my grid pad, and I'm using another scrap piece of paper to make sure the sentiment is placed straight. Whenever foiling, I use my hinge method, and what this is, I add a piece of tape to tape the plate onto the paper to create a hinge to be able to flip the plate away. This way, I can easily add a piece of foil under the plate while still keeping the plate in place, exactly where I want it on this panel. The hinge is also useful if you need to refoil your image in case it didn't foil perfectly the first time. I added my piece of foil. This was some leftover from a previous project, and this is matte gold foil from Spellbinders. I actually prefer the matte gold foil to regular shiny foils, as matte gives you a much softer look. It still looks like foil, but it's not as flashy and not as shiny. At least, I feel it looks much better on the lighter color of cardstock. If you go with darker cardstock, the regular gold or the regular shiny foils do look much better. So I flipped the plate back into place, and then I added another piece of low-tack tape to secure it all in place. Now I'm going to bring my Glimmer hot foil system. I just turned it on, so it's going to take a few minutes to heat up. I paused my video, I went and grabbed me a cup of coffee, and now I'm back, and my Glimmer is hot. You can see that the second light has turned solid green, and I can begin foiling. I placed my paper with the Glimmer plate and foil onto the brown Glimmer surface. Whenever I foil a sentiment, I like to place the sentiments parallel to the platform, not perpendicular. I feel I get better results this way. So that's how I place the sentiment on the Glimmer. And then I press the timer button and grab my shims. I have 2 shims that the machine comes with, plus I almost always add a cardstock shim to increase the pressure, as that's what works best for my machine. Now, you need to test and see what works best for your machine, as all machines are a little bit different. You might not need a shim at all. You might need a printer paper shim, or you might need a cardstock shim. So test and see, there is no perfect formula. Once the light stops flashing, this means the plate is hot and ready to foil. I take my platform out of the docking station and I send it through my die cutting machine to apply pressure and foil. I use platinum die cutting machine. Mine is the large 8.5 machine, and it sits off to the side, so that's why I'm not showing this on video. I can bring the platform back and dock it, and now I can reveal my foiled sentiment. Now do be careful, as the plate is hot, so try not to touch it. I peeled a small top piece of tape, and I keep the hinge in place. I need to check if the sentiment foiled well first. It foiled okay. The top and bottom parts foiled perfectly, but the middle part where it says Mary is underfoiled. Now I can fix this by refoiling this piece, so no need to toss this panel, we can still save it. And this is where the hinge method, or the hinge technique, is so useful. I can add another piece of foil. This time I'm using a smaller piece. I cut my foil large enough to cover just that word Mary, as I don't need to refoil anything else. And I add it onto the paper. I flip the plate back into place, and I tape everything onto the paper using another piece of tape. Think of this as double stamping using a stamping tool. Here, instead of stamping an image with ink, we are double hot foil stamping. So we are double stamping with foil. It didn't stamp perfectly the first time, so we're using the hinge technique to re-stamp that part of the sentiment. I placed the paper onto my Glimmer machine, and this time I decided I would add another shim just in case. I cut a piece of cardstock slightly larger than the word Mary, and I placed it over the Mary on the paper. Now I did eyeball it. Obviously, I can't see exactly where that Mary is situated on the paper, but I do know that I had it centered, so I placed it in the center of my panel. I repeated the steps and I refoiled this piece. And let's take a look. The shim left indentations on the paper. It is very visible from the back, and I hope it won't be as visible from the front. And this time, it foiled perfectly. The shim indentations aren't that visible on the front of the panel, so we're all good. I'm very happy with how this turned out. Now, I did some additional stamping off camera. I created a few filler pieces for my foliage. I wanted to have more red, so I stamped tiny berry branches using the Happy Poinsettia stamp set. I used Simon's leaf green and lipstick red inks to stamp these images, and then I cut them out using coordinating dies. Now, this set also has pine branches, and I first thought about adding green cutout branches to the card, but I changed my mind and I stamped branches in brown ink directly onto the background, and I used Simon's khaki ink. By the way, for the longest time, I was saying haki, as that's how we pronounce this color in Ukrainian, and I thought it was the same in English. Anyhow, I stamped the branches, placing them so that it looked like as if they were coming from under my foliage. I first foam mounted the poinsettias on the mistletoe branches, and then used that as a guide to do my stamping. The brown khaki color went really well with the matte gold foiling. Depending on how you tilt the card in the light, the color, the khaki color, actually looks the same as the matte foiling. It's very pretty. I foam mounted the branches onto the background, and I also added the tiny filler pieces using foam adhesive. The red berries added a lot of detail to this design. I used scissors and I trimmed the excess off. I just had a little bit of overhang, so I cut that off. I also embellished this card with gold gems from Spellbinders. I added quite a few gems, placing them next to the foliage. Now, I recently had a question on my YouTube channel asking how I distribute the embellishments on the card. Now here, I clustered them immediately next to the images. I didn't follow the rule of a triangle. Instead, I just used the gems as extensions of the images. Where I had little crevices in the design, I added 2 or 3 gems to fill that space in. I hope this helps. So here's a look at the finished card. You can see how beautifully that foiling shines in the background and complements the flowers. I hope you'll give this idea a try. If you make a card inspired by this video, we'd love it if you shared your project online and tagged us on social media. We always enjoy seeing what you guys are making. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet done so. Thanks so much for joining me today. Love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!